Well, it's almost the weekend here, and that means Mother's Day is just 2 days away, and we've got Emily Richards here joining us in the studio cafeteria area. And Emily, lots of people, Mother's Day Sunday, they might not have had those reservations ready.
They might not have, they might have missed out, but that's okay. They can celebrate at home, and that's actually part of my favorite thing to do. And, you know, putting on a pot of tea, which we have some steeping for us, and just making a few little treats with mom or for mom, or even for a friend. So it's just a wonderful way to kind of start the day and kind of work your way into the afternoon.
So we've got a lot of easy treats to make?
Yes,
easy?
Easy. You're making some, I'm going to make some. So
easy is my word.
And typically for afternoon tea, it has that sweet and savory feel. So we're doing a little bit of sweet and a little bit of savory. And I'm going to start off with some scones, which I think are kind of everyone, you know, associates with tea. And they are super easy to make. You probably have all the ingredients at home. It's flour, a little bit of sugar. I have some baking powder, and then I already have my butter in here that I'm just kind of making into small little pieces. And this is great if you want to get your hands dirty and get involved. And you can also make these ahead. So these are cream scones. So I'm going to add a little bit of whipping cream in here. So that makes them just a little extra special. But if you don't have cream at home, you could easily use milk here in place of the cream. Okay. Now, if you want, you could also add some fruit to this. So you could use some fresh fruit. Rhubarb's in season, so you could chop up some fresh rhubarb in here. Blueberries would be lovely, or even just some dried fruit like currants or dried cranberries would be fabulous. Okay.
Now, do you say scone or scone?
I say scone, but people say scone. People say biscuits. And I think they're all in the same family, right? They're all a treat. They're all a treat, and they're absolutely delicious. Now, if you wanted to make this savory, you could, you know, not use the fruit, but some grated cheddar in here and some fresh herbs would be absolutely fabulous.
A lot of options.
So all you're going to do is gather this with your hands and bring it together. And what's fabulous about this is that you can get this mixture made ahead and pop it in the fridge. So if you want to do this the night before, you can, and create the scones and then just bake them fresh in the morning. So maybe while mom's still in bed, you can have them in the oven.
How long before could you prepare it?
So you can actually make them and put them in the freezer.
Okay.
So if you are thinking about it right now and mom's not home, go ahead, get going. So what you're going to do is just pat this out into, you can do a small circle, usually about 8 inches or so, and then I like to cut my scones into wedges. And if you want tiny little scones to serve with tea, you're just going to make little scones like that. And these get a little bit of sugar on top, and they go into a 425-degree oven, and they only take about 10 minutes.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, so totally easy.
Okay.
And I brought some already baked, and I put rhubarb in them just because I really love the flavor of rhubarb.
And then to put on top of them?
Well, I always love a little bit of soft butter and jam, but chantilly cream is really popular, as is some whipped cream. So you could definitely have a little bit of everything. And these are fabulous because you can snack on them through the day. So it doesn't have to be specifically for a tea for mom, but just enjoying them as you go. I'm going to pour a little bit of tea for you here too, Colton. So, you know, get the whole thing, the whole vibe going.
So then what do we have under the lemons?
Oh, so that's one of my favorite. I think any lemon dessert goes beautifully with tea. So these are just little tea cakes. And what I did was I thinly sliced some lemon and steeped it in some sugar water, and they got a little bit soft, and then they really bring out the flavor of the lemon in the little cake. So little muffin tins, you know, you can even use a boxed mix if you wanted to, and just add that extra little bit of flavor, which is delicious.
With the tea.
Oh, definitely. And on the savory side, I wanted you to do some work too.
Yes.
So these are finger sandwiches that are absolutely easy and I think just simplistic, and they are cucumber sandwiches. Okay. So a little bit of fresh bread, and in the spread there's some soft butter, a little bit of mayonnaise, and fresh basil. You could use fresh mint if you wanted, fresh dill, any kind of fresh herb really adds to it, and very thinly sliced cucumbers. This is kind of what makes them nice and dainty and beautiful to go and be served with the tea. And I always love serving these crusts off, but you can definitely leave the crusts on.
Okay, so you don't have to cut
You don't
it off.
have to cut the crusts off. They always just look really pretty. And they're called finger sandwiches because they are typically the size of your finger. So you can use a guide, the guide being your finger, to cut them. And I think that's nice and easy, especially if you have little hands helping. You know, they can keep their finger there. And then maybe, you know, you control the knife as opposed to the kids. And then you can just serve it and add it to these other sweet little treats. The other savory dish that I brought was a smoked salmon and radish dip. So really, really easy to put together with some sour cream and cottage cheese and smoked salmon, a little bit of fresh chopped radish. And you can serve these with a little bit of fresh vegetables or pita crisps or even some crackers and just kind of sit and relax and have all these little nibbles with a little cup of tea. And of course, for the young ones, if they're not a fan of hot tea, iced tea is a great option.
That's a great idea. And one, I don't know if you were watching, I did that in about 30 seconds.
You did, and I think that
it's not the prettiest, but
I think that's your new career, finger sandwich maker. Can that happen? As you know,
this is what I'm going to do for lunch now. Even if it's not a career, this is what I'll do for lunch. Well, thank you, Emily, so much for joining us. This is a wonderful idea, and I can't wait to treat my mom.
Perfect.